Hi, I'm Steve Knutson, Microsoft MVP for Office Services and Apps. Over the last week, New Zealand has gone into lockdown. We've seen lots of people trying to get to the cloud quickly. Those organisations that have been prepared have had infrastructure in place already. It's gone pretty smoothly for. There's another set of organisations though, those that weren't in a position to be able to get up running quickly. And so this video, I'll try and answer some of the common questions that I've seen in the last week. Really, the first question that usually comes up in these organisations is, how do I structure my teams? So I'd like to think about it in the way you group content at a very high level in this way. We typically see an intranet site, which is usually based on a SharePoint com site template, not associated with Teams, as a sort of a top level. But in this scenario, we can generally think of this as being a bit removed from it. Where we're really focusing here is on the middle three sites, which are collaboration spaces at the department level, cross-functional level, or project level. So the typical department site would be something along the lines of sales, IT, planning, those teams of people that work together every day. Cross-functional sites, ones which cross the organisation, health and safety committee, senior leadership team as examples. And projects, or projects themselves, groups of people working together both internally and externally to the organisation. However, if you have two projects, they may have different groups of people. So you may have one which has one set of external consultants working with it, or another with with a different set of external contractors. The final type of site that we often see is informational knowledge-based sites. Again, SharePoint com template is really good for these, although you can implement them in Microsoft Teams as well. Let's jump over into Teams for a minute and have a look at a few of the functions and so on here. So my Microsoft Teams client here, you'll see off on the left-hand side my Microsoft Teams, and you'll see a few things which I just want to point out here, which will help you with things like the naming convention for sites. Excuse me. So in this particular team here called SK Demo, you'll notice the little S in the icon on the side here. The one above it's SharePoint Team, you'll notice it's got ST. Now if I had another team called Sales Team, it would also have ST in here, so it wouldn't be easy to differentiate between. When I create the team initially, I'm at that point deciding on the name of the team. That name is also used to generate the URL. So for example, if I jump into this particular site here, my SK Demo site, and I'm sitting inside the demo team and choose Open in SharePoint, you'll see that the site URL here is Stratus Tech, my tenant name, .sharepoint.com/sites/skdemo/shared%20 documents/forms/all items, etc. And then my document name buried down inside here. If I click up one level, you'll see the other channel inside this folder here. So my default document library contains both my demo channel content and my general channel content. So in a single library. Within SharePoint, we can create additional libraries, although we can't create those within Teams. So we'd start by creating one inside SharePoint. We can have multiple libraries in a site, and those libraries can be linked to Teams using the plus button here on a channel, and then adding the SharePoint document library to the site. We can also add a SharePoint page and so on as well to add other content. You'll see a video in my YouTube channel on how to do this. One of the things we need to think about in terms of structure though is that for each of these teams, we can specify several important things, which the office group that's associated with the team can decide who the owners are, who the members are, and who the visitors are, whether it's public or private. We can also set retention policy, configure external sharing policy, and also compliance policies such as sensitivity. Now, when we're racing to get to the cloud very quickly, we generally don't have time to think too hard about stuff like governance and so on. So if you're wanting to get there quickly, the first thing to have a quick think about is just the site naming conventions. Think about the structure of the content that may eventually end up inside those areas and whether they would have different compliance requirements or different permission requirements or sharing requirements. Those three things, sharing requirements, permission requirements, and compliance requirements, are best implemented at the team level, or most easily implemented at the team level. A thing that I've seen people doing this week also has been trying to move large amounts of content very rapidly to the cloud. Two major issues with that. One is a lot of content throttling. So if you're using the migration tool, for example, you'll see a video on my channel on how to do that. The migration tool, they're limiting the amount of content that can be uploaded over the last week to basically improve the performance for everyone else. A few things: if you don't have your Office 365 mailboxes moved to the cloud, the calendar item here, for example, was missing. We've also seen things like people moving stuff to the cloud and sticking it all into one team. Again, not a great idea. You better just separate it out for the reasons I outlined earlier. As a parting comment, what I'd suggest you do, if you need to move to the cloud very rapidly, is think about moving a minimal amount of content, just the stuff that you need to get working. Don't try and backload your historical information. It's a big job, but also it's likely that you're going to make some mistakes and you'll need to sort some things out later. At the moment, the thing that's probably front of mind is just getting going so that you can use the features such as document sharing, online meetings and chat functionality. Get yourself up and going first. Start with a small group. Don't try and bulk load everyone in one hit. Know that you could use PowerShell for creation of groups and for bulk loading of users into groups at a later stage. There's scripts available online for that. And also keep an eye out for the free training material on the Microsoft website for Teams. Hopefully that's a few tips to get you up and going quickly. I know this week's probably been quite difficult for many. I know that you've probably made some mistakes and you're probably feeling a bit tired. However, take a bit of time in a couple of weeks' time, once you've recovered a wee bit, just to look at where you've ended up. Set out a plan for how for things that need to be sorted out, and then get some resourcing for later. You will need to tidy this up in the long run, but don't worry about it from day one. As long as you have the basics in place, you'll be fairly well served and not have too much rework. Hope that's been helpful. Check out my channel for some other videos on how to upload content, how to work with Teams in SharePoint and run meetings, and I'll talk to you again soon.